FBI thought they had won. With the Scorpion in custody and Chike Obi's empire crumbling, Ifeanyi Okoro should have been safe. But in the world of crime, loose ends don't stay loose for long. At 2:37 a.m., the safe house alarm shrieked through the walls. Ifeanyi jolted awake, heart hammering in his chest. The red emergency light cast eerie shadows across the room. A second later, gunfire erupted downstairs. "They're here." FBI agent Marcus Reynolds burst through the door, his gun raised. His face was tight with urgency. They cut the power. Multiple attackers, well equipped. The building shook with the blast of a grenade. The floor trembled beneath them. Ifeanyi barely had time to process it before a barrage of bullets tore through the walls, shredding furniture and spraying with chips across the room. "They're coming up," another agent shouted from the hallway. Reynolds shoved Ifeanyi toward the emergency exit. "Move. We have to get out of here now." They sprinted down the corridor as black-clad mercenaries stormed up the stairs. The lead attacker fired an M4 rifle, the rounds ripping through an agent's chest. Blood splattered against the walls. Reynolds spun around and fired. His shot struck one attacker in the throat, sending him tumbling back. Another gunman raised his weapon, but Ifeanyi, driven by pure survival, grabbed a fallen pistol and fired twice. The man collapsed. "No time," Reynolds barked, dragging Ifeanyi toward the fire escape. More bullets ricocheted off the metal stairwell as they descended. Ifeanyi's feet hit the pavement. The street was empty, but not for long. A black SUV roared around the corner, tires screeching. The driver, another FBI agent, threw open the door. "Get in." As soon as the door slammed shut, the SUV lurched forward. Behind them, the mercenaries burst from the building, opening fire. Bullets shattered the rear window. The driver jerked the wheel, weaving through the empty streets of DC. "They're following us," Ifeanyi gasped, looking back. A motorcycle swerved through traffic, a masked assassin gripping an Uzi. The assassin raised the gun. Reynolds fired through the windshield. The bullet hit home. The assassin's body slumped, and the bike skidded, flipping into a fiery explosion. Reynolds exhaled sharply. "Chike won't stop until you're dead." Ifeanyi clenched his fists. He knew Reynolds was right. This wasn't over. It had only just begun. Chike Obi sat in his fortified penthouse, overlooking the neon-lit cityscape of Lagos. His empire was in shambles, his name plastered across international news. And Ifeanyi Okoro was still alive. Depo King Ifeanyi, his top enforcer, stood beside him, gun resting against his thigh. Across the room, Muna the ghost, Ume stared at his laptop, his face grim. "The Scorpion failed," Muna muttered. "The FBI is closing in." Chike exhaled slowly, swirling the whiskey in his glass. "Then we hit them harder." He turned to Depo. "Kill everyone connected to Ifeanyi. Journalists, informants, even their families." Depo grinned. "Consider it done." The violence erupted before dawn. A prominent journalist, one of Ifeanyi's allies, was found hanging from a Lagos bridge, his body riddled with bullet holes. Another whistleblower was dragged from his home and executed in the street. Fires engulfed offices, destroying evidence. Gunmen roamed the city, silencing anyone who dared speak against Chike. The police did nothing. Chike owned them. By the time the sun rose, Lagos was drenched in blood. Depo stood amidst the wreckage, watching the flames lick the sky. He chuckled, pulling out his phone and recording a short video of the carnage. He sent it to Ifeanyi. A message. Ifeanyi's phone buzzed. He hesitated before pressing play. The video loaded. Bodies, flames, screams, and a text from Chike. "You think you're safe? You're already dead." Ifeanyi's hands trembled with rage. He turned to Reynolds. "This has to end." Reynolds' face was set in stone. "Then we take the fight to him." 3 days later, Ifeanyi stepped onto Nigerian soil. He wasn't alone. FBI, Interpol, Nigerian Special Forces. They had a single mission: bring down Chike Obi. Chike's compound was a fortress, guarded by dozens of heavily armed mercenaries. But no walls could save him now. At midnight, the raid began. Helicopters thundered overhead. A rocket-propelled grenade blew apart the compound's front gate. Gunfire exploded as special forces stormed the premises. Mercenaries fired from the windows. Agents retaliated, cutting them down. H. Reynolds, weaving through the chaos. A guard lunged at them, machete raised. Reynolds shot him point blank. They reached the main building, kicked the door open. More gunfire. More bodies. Upstairs, Chike Obi. He stood in his panicked room, watching security feeds of his empire falling apart. His pistol was loaded. The door burst open. Reynolds stepped inside, gun aimed. Chike smirked. "You don't have the guts," as he aimed a shot at him. Reynolds pulled the trigger. One shot. Chike Obi collapsed. Blood spread beneath him, his empire crumbling alongside his body. Morning, dozens of arrests had been made. Chike's network was dismantled. Justice had won. But Ifeanyi knew the truth. Crime never truly dies. As he stepped onto the streets of Lagos, a chill ran down his spine. In the shadows, someone was still watching. And he knew this was far from over. For more of our stories, please subscribe, share, and like. Also, drop your comments in the comment section.